Coming up in this episode, are Salford Red Devils in trouble? Scores and scorers from the first NRL game of the weekend. The Rugby Football League name a new CEO. And Jake Mamo retired with immediate effect. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. Also, please remember, I am still running my Buy Me a Coffee campaign. If you guys can donate, please do. Just click on the QR code and it'll take you there straight away. Well, use your mobile phone, scan it, and then it'll take you to the page and donate if you can. Thank you so much in advance. So where do we begin today? Well, it is going to have to be that Salford Red Devils news, as their club are set to get a £350,000 council loan to make sure they stay in business. The Salford Red Devils, who this weekend had a Mark Sneyd inspired victory, 60 points to 14 against his former club Hull FC last Saturday, are extremely cash strapped and are waiting for the sign off on a deal which would see the local authority complete the buyout of the AJ Bell Stadium. With this loan, it will see that they will get a lease of up to 5 years and crucially open them up in getting cash from food and drink sales, which they currently do not get. But Salford Mayor Paul Dennett wants to hand the club the sum repayable at 4.66% interest, with Sun Sport understanding personal guarantees have been made from the club. According to documents, it is likely that the club will go out of business in the short to medium term without any temporary liquidity support while it embarks on preparations of a resurrection plan. As it is about to vote through buying the whole of the stadium after rejecting Sale Sharks rugby union bid, the council outlined what the club means to the city of Salford. It said, if Salford Reds were to go out of business, it could significantly impact on jobs and employment in the city, as the club is an employer in the city in its own right, and has contractual arrangements that support jobs more widely. Salford Reds is significantly part of the heritage of Salford, being in the city since 1873, and is an important contributor to the wider health and social well-being of the city, with the work with schools, community clubs across Greater Manchester to inspire young people to achieve their potential and lead healthy lifestyles. Based on the club's support network, employees work in the community, effect on surrounding business employment and its profile and heritage, the failure of Salford Reds will leave a significant gap in the market. So in this record of decision from Salford City Council, Paul Donnell, City Mayor, is in consultation with councillors and Mary and Kelly, Deputy City Mayors, and Councillor Yuld, Leader of the Finance, and exercising of the powers within the Council Commission to hereby approve the making of a loan payment as a secured support within the definition of Section 19 of the Subsidiary Control Act 2022. In the sum of £350,000 to be paid to Salford Red Devils 2013 Limited. The loan is subject to the interest rates, and as it says further down, two sentences down, will be two tranches of £175,000 each. So that means this decision has been made by the councils and is subject to approval, and the loan will be paid in two 175 instalments, the second only being handed over once Salford Council have received appropriate security for the loan, or guaranteed having been provided. A guarantor even being provided. Well, Salford need this loan, and the reason why I say could they be in trouble is that they've also gone quiet on the Sebastian Gerrard side of the equation. The man who was big noise at the end of last season to pre-season has not come across as an investor for a few months now, or even a purchaser of the club and the stadium. This 5-year loan and also lease will make them a more attractive proposition because now I'm getting more money in the long term, shall we say. There is a possibility of a takeover still, but it will come at some financial pain for whoever wants to go in there. After Ralph Rimmer's tenure with the RFL has come to an end as chief executive, the RFL have been in a search for the new CEO, which they should have had in place before the aforementioned Rimmer left the position back on the 31st of December 2022. But after 3.5 months, the RFL have made their decision on a new Chief Executive Officer of the Rugby Football League. And that comes as no surprise as they have appointed the previous interim RFL Chief Executive, Tony Sutton, as the new man in the hot seat. The 49-year-old has been acting as the interim CEO for the last 3 months following the departure of Ralph Rimmer in December. Originally from Kingston upon Hull, he has been with the RFL since January 2017, where he was appointed Director of Finance and Facilities, becoming the Chief Operating Officer 2 years later. He joined the RFL from the Hull College Group, where he had been operating as the Chief Operating Officer. Before that, he worked for 13 years at Hull FC in a range of roles, including a Financial Controller, Finance Director and Chief Operating Officer again. He will become an executive member of the RFL board, joining the non-executive directors like Sandy Lindsay, MBE, Dr. Rimla Akhtar, OBE, Dr. Sherry Daly, and Simon Johnson, the chair of the RFL. Speaking about his appointment, he said, "This is a pivotal and exciting time for the sport of rugby league, and I'm immensely proud and privileged to have been given the opportunity to lead the RFL. I was new to rugby league when I joined Hull FC, but the best part of 14 years at the club left me a deep impression on me in terms of the importance of our clubs to their fans and the communities in which they are rooted, and in the brilliance, athleticism and the humility of the players who deliver such a thrilling spectacle. In 6 years with the RFL, I have seen firsthand the level of commitment delivered by some incredible people, now including RL Commercial. We relish the challenges ahead, working with our strategic partners IMG, our clubs, our broadcast and commercial partners, and our many other stakeholders, with a focus on looking after our people and the sports participation, maximising our Reimagining Rugby League project, and continuing to deliver our community strategy to make our sport the most inclusive, accessible and engaging as possible." According to the RFL statement, a comprehensive search process was led by Perrett Laver, the International Executive Recruitment Specialist. Candidates from around the world and wider sports industry were assessed by the panel involving club CEOs, partners from Sports England and the media, with the final interviews held last week. And after all that was put through, they decided to go with Sutton in the appointment of CEO. Simon Johnson, the chair of the RFL, said Tony has a highly positive impact in the months since he was appointed interim CEO, and from our angle has really grown into the role with a distinctive and different style. He has impressed everyone with his ambition, passion and commitment to creating the right culture for high performance at the RFL. He was already well respected by staff, clubs, partners and stakeholders as a result of his work as the Director of Finance and Facilities and since 2019 Chief Operating Officer. Tony has played a key role in strategic realignment of the sport as well as developing the relationship with IMG as our partner. He will be able to use those relationships and learn to drive the sport forward at this exciting time. So reading into that, he was the financial director when it came to the previous TV deal. And when he became Chief Operating Officer, the money from the TV deal went down. If he's the best person for the job in the RFL's eyes, then great, and he should be picked. If he's the best person for the job because he's liked by clubs in the RFL, that's not the way to go. We're looking to reimagine rugby league. We've brought in IMG to bring in changes to make us different. If the clubs have the same person, someone's here in the area, then there's a possibility that they will drag their feet a little bit more, as they know they can because they got a friend at the RFL. I'm just speculating at this point, and that's my personal opinion. And it seems like a few people's personal opinion on the Twitter landscape. There's some comments about, let's look for the best person. Oh, there's this guy next door that can do the job. Anyway, you tell me what your thoughts are on this appointment in the comment section below. Now we come to the NRL as Thursday sees the start of the round 3 fixtures, and we'll come to those in a moment as the NRL have proclaimed the third round of this year multicultural round. It is round 3 with the multicultural round in the men's side competition, but in the NRL women's that will be round 5 of them for their first multicultural round, which joins the other theme round celebrated annually by the NRL. This representative map is where people are supposedly from from their heritage, should I say, with the NRL and the NRL playing groups made up of diverse family backgrounds, with 161 NRL players who had parents born overseas, 77 NRL players who are born overseas. NRL women have 35 players who have parents born overseas, with 34 who were also born overseas themselves. The NRL statistics says that there are 62 nations involved in NRL at some level, so they are happy to promote that as a way of saying we're inclusive in this game, which is part and parcel of what they are. And with that, here are the ties for the multicultural round fixtures. So the first game is the Manly Seagulls versus Parramatta Eels, which is followed by Friday with the Newcastle Knights playing the Dolphins, the Roosters playing the Rabbitohs, with Saturday having the Titans versus the Storm, the Cowboys versus the Warriors, and the Broncos versus the Dragons. On Sunday we see Canterbury face off against West Tigers, with Canberra Raiders and the Cronulla Sharks closing out the round. Penrith Panthers get a bye this weekend due to the odd number of teams. What is slated as one of NRL's greatest rivalries is reaching the peak again after the early 80s saw some scintillating games between the Seagulls and Eels as they met in consecutive grand finals and have been going strong ever since. Speaking of grand finals, that's where Parramatta were just 5 months ago, but they have started the new season with a no wins, 2 losses record and face a tough trip to 4 Pines Park to face a rejuvenated Manly Seagulls. Under new coach Anthony Seibold, the Sea Eagles have won the pre-season challenge and carried that form into round 1, where the return of Tom Trbojevic sparked a 31 points to 6 win. With skipper Daly Cherry Evans in majestic form and Turbo quickly finding his feet after a long layoff, Manly's lived up to the hype in the 5-try romp. The Eels won both clashes with this side last year, including a 36 points to 20 victory at Forbines Park in round 21, but the Seagulls were hitting the skids at that stage, and as opposed to hitting the straps this time around. So, what was the results and the scorers from that game? Well, here they are. Well, what a game between two indifferent sides going into this match. Putting on a performance of 34 points to 30 victory was the Manly Seagulls, and it was tough going for both sides. First of all, Ruben Garrick opened the scoring on the 7th minute, which was followed by Tom Trbojevic on the 25th minute, before Clint Gutherson scored on the 31st minute, followed by Matt Dorey. After half-time, Clint Gutherson went over on the 43rd minute, before Tom Trbojevic responded, and the sides went towards Manly Seagulls with the scoring, as Brad Parker scored on the 54th, and Humole Olukuatu scoring on the 68th minute. Josh Hodgson put on a vintage display for his try on the 75th minute, dummying and going after some great offloading from the Parramatta Eels. It was close up until that point. Ruben Garrick had kicked 4 from his 6 attempts and also kicked a penalty on the 18th minute, with Mitchell Moses kicking 3 from his 6 attempts. Omole Olokuatu scored a second try off an intercept to run in from 40 metres to score the final points for the Manly Seagulls, before Mika Sivo scored in the 77th minute to set up a tense last few moments of the game. But in the end, it was Manly Seagulls with the victory, 34 points to 30. So this was an interesting one that came out yesterday, that came out as such a blow, to be honest, as he's only still young, as Castleford Tigers interim coach Andy Last has confirmed that Jake Mamo was retired from the professional game with immediate effect. The 28-year-old joined the Tigers ahead of the 2021 campaign from Warrington and played in 2 of Castleford's 4 games this season. Last went on to say, Jake has been suffering a little bit with a back injury, and due to medical reasons and with how he is feeling with regards to his body, he has made the decision to retire from top level rugby league. It came as a little bit of a shock, but he has suffered a couple of knocks over the last couple of years and a couple of bangs to the head, concussions, etc., and could not quite shake off his back injury, so he came to that decision. He didn't really show any signs that he was going to come to this decision. He got through the pre-season okay, but picked up a knock in one of the games, and he struggled to shake it off. He's obviously got some scarring from a mental point of view with regards to some injuries that he has picked up earlier in his career, and that has impacted on how he is feeling with performing moving forward. Jake Mamo has been making his moves through rugby league in the Super League top echelons for the last few years, but he originally moved to England from the NRL in 2017, where he spent 2 seasons with Huddersfield Giants, before moving on to Warrington Wolves, where he played for 3 years. In total, Mamo's made 133 career appearances, with 29 for the Newcastle Knights, 25 for Huddersfield, 56 for Warrington, 1 on loan to Widnes as well, and 22 from Castleford Tigers. He also has an impressive try scoring record with 62 to his name during his, 9-year spell in the game. Speaking about his decision, he said there's a lot of factors that came into the decision, with the main one being that I suffered too many head knocks and injuries. I suffered a back injury in my last game against Saints and I couldn't move for 3 days after that. I thought to myself, I never wanted to feel like that ever again. Rugby league has given me a lot, and I've also given me a chance to move here to the UK. I've had good relationships with the fans at all the clubs, and I have been at, and that is going to be the thing I'm going to miss the most. The Cas fans especially, because I always spent time after the games getting round to talk to them, and they've been really good to me. I look back on my time at the Cas fondly, and I've enjoyed my couple of years at the club, but I felt this was the right decision for me to be moving forward. Its final club, Salford Tigers, sent out this message over their social media, their statement after revealing the announcement of Mamo's retirement. Everyone at Salford Tigers would like to thank Jake for his time with the club and wish him the very best in his future endeavours. While the loss of a player is sad for rugby league fans, clubs will always look to move on. Castleford need to move on quite quickly, as they are behind the 8 ball when it comes to performances, with no wins so far this season, and only Wakefield Trinity below them in the table. What I mean by that is Mamo's immediate release from his contract frees up a quota spot at Castleford, and when asked if Castleford were looking to bring someone else in, Andy Last said, "I'd love to be able to move quickly, but everyone is in a position where it is the start of the season only." Some guys who maybe aren't in the team at the moment are waiting for their opportunities, depending on players losing a bit of form or players picking up injuries. If you look in the market, there are some options out there, but what we don't want to do is rush into it and make knee-jerk signings. We've got to bide our time, and if the opportunity presents itself to bring someone in, I'm sure the club are actively looking and will strike if and when necessarily. We know there's really no sentiment in sport, but Castleford needs something on the field as soon as possible to bolster their chances of being better in the league. If it takes one centre to change things around, then good on them. If they want to go a different position, that's fine too. We'll have to find out what they do when the time comes. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates or new videos that may be coming your way in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, as it's all open for business. And as long as you be respectful, I'm open to any conversation you would have about rugby league. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode and how it was put together. I'd like to improve this channel and continue to do so. As long as you're constructive with your criticism, I will take that on board. Anyway, Jake Mamo's retirement, the new CEO of the RFL, and Salford Red Devils' big loan. It's kind of a interesting day, to be fair. But what's your thoughts? Comment. Also remember to share this video worldwide, as this is how we grow the sport of rugby league. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide, and I'll end the episode as I always do by wishing you all the very best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.